Disney Christmas Storybook Collection. Read for Books for Kids by Flying Dragons. Tangled, Ghosts of Christmas Past. It should have been a joyous time. Christmas was coming, Rapunzel's very first Christmas since returning home to the castle. For the past 16 years of her life, she'd spent every Christmas locked away in Mother Gothel's tower. The castle halls were decked with boughs of holly. The butler had just chosen the royal Christmas tree. Everyone was doing their best to spread holiday cheer. Even the grumpiest townsfolk were merry. But in the royal family, one person was not ready for a happy holiday. "No way, nuh-huh," said Rapunzel. "I refuse to celebrate Christmas." "What?" cried Flynn. "Why don't you want to celebrate the most wonderful holiday of the year?" Rapunzel looked shocked. "Wonderful," she said. "I think you mean terrifying." Flynn was confused, until Rapunzel shared her memories of Christmases spent in Mother Gothel's tower. "You know how it is," Rapunzel said. "There's all of that eerie Christmas music. Mother Gothel sang it non-stop at Christmas time. I hate chanting and growling." That didn't sound like any Christmas music Flynn had ever heard. "Okay," he said, trying not to smile. "What else is there?" Mother Gothel also told us the tale of Nicholas, the ghostly Christmas elf, how he creeps into children's bedrooms on Christmas Eve and steals them away. The thought of it kept me up at bedtime." Rapunzel sighed and shrugged. "But I guess that's why all kids have trouble sleeping on Christmas Eve. Didn't you?" "Actually, no," Flynn said. "I couldn't wait to go to bed and wake up on Christmas morning. You know, what you're describing is not what Christmas is like at all." From everything Rapunzel was telling him, he could see that Mother Gothel had gone out of her way to ruin Christmas for Rapunzel. She didn't want Rapunzel to leave the tower, Flynn thought. Ever. Well, he could do something to change things now. Flynn smiled, taking Rapunzel by the hand. "You know what?" he said. "I'll show you what Christmas is really like. Come on." He led Rapunzel outside the castle. She kept close by his side, but Flynn reassured her. "Just look around and listen," he said. "Does this seem like a spooky holiday to you?" They passed a group of children singing Christmas carols. The harmonies were sweet and soothing. The verses were all about hope and joy. It was nothing like the Christmas music that Rapunzel had heard before. A small boy raced over to Rapunzel. He held out a package wrapped with a golden bow. "Merry Christmas, Princess Rapunzel," he said. "I made this especially for you." But Rapunzel was terrified at the sight of the gift, her eyes wide as she started to back away. "Trick package, duck everyone!" she cried, diving for cover behind a low stone wall. She peeked out warily from her hiding place. Flynn and the children stared at her. Who would run away from a Christmas present? "It's not a trick," Flynn said gently. "Just a gift." He opened the box. Inside was a hand-woven crown of evergreens. Slowly Rapunzel stepped out from behind the wall and took the crown from Flynn. She placed it on her hand. "A real Christmas gift," she said, as if she'd never heard of such a thing. "Not an exploding trick package." She knelt by the little boy and took both his hands in hers. "Thank you." Rapunzel and Flynn wandered further into the town and came across a tree trimming party. Together the townsfolk were decorating an enormous Christmas tree in the town square. Rapunzel pointed towards the top of the tree. "You'll need a lot more charms up there," she said, "if you want to scare off the ghostly Christmas elf." She picked up one of the ornaments. "And I'm not sure these charms are anywhere near scary enough." Flynn took her aside. "They're not charms," he explained. "They're ornaments, for decoration." Rapunzel frowned. "Oh, Well, then how do you keep the Christmas elf away? Flynn couldn't help laughing. Okay, next lesson. They went back inside, where Flynn found some books about the real St. Nicholas. Oh, we had this one at the orphanage, Flynn said, holding up a blue book. See, St. Nicholas isn't a ghostly Christmas elf. He's a jolly old fellow who travels far and wide, on Christmas Eve bringing gifts to all the boys and girls. Flynn showed Rapunzel drawings of a smiling, bearded man carrying a sack full of presents. Definitely no kidnapping. Rapunzel and her chameleon, Pascal, looked at each other. Rapunzel didn't know which of them was more surprised. To think of all those Christmas Eves they'd spent huddled by the fire, too afraid to sleep. You mean children have trouble sleeping on Christmas Eve because they're excited? She asked. Flynn nodded. That's right, he said. Most children can't wait for Christmas. He watched Rapunzel take it all in. So now that you know what this festive time is really like, do you think you might be interested in celebrating it this year? For real? For the first time? Rapunzel's face lit up. Yes, she replied, and she sprang into action. For the next few weeks, Rapunzel lived and breathed Christmas, enjoying everything that the holiday season had to offer, everything she had missed out on while living in the tower. In the castle kitchen, she helped bake dozens and dozens of delicious crumbly Christmas cookies. She learned every word of every Christmas carol she had never heard before. She decked every undecked part of the hall with garlands and ribbon, and for the first time she made beautiful, not spooky, Christmas ornaments. Finally, she brought together paper and ribbons and gift tags, and carefully wrapped handmade gifts for each member of her family. She could hardly wait until Christmas to see them get opened. By the time Christmas Eve arrived, Rapunzel was exhausted, but very, very happy. Every room in the castle had been decorated with garlands and tinsel, and presents were piled up beneath the Christmas tree, where her family gathered to celebrate. Rapunzel's father, the king, proposed a toast. For years our hearts have not felt entirely whole at this time of year, he paused. An important part of them was missing. He smiled at Rapunzel. The queen raised her golden goblet and added her own words to the toast. But now, for the first time since you were born, Rapunzel, this holiday is a joyful one for all of us. Rapunzel couldn't agree more. Surrounded by her warm, loving family, in front of the cracking fire, she could not imagine a better Christmas. Rapunzel sighed happily and flopped down next to Flynn on a cosy sofa. Thank you for all of this, she said. I should really be thanking you, Flynn admitted. You know, this is my first Christmas with a real family. All those years I spent growing up in an orphanage, I knew what Christmas was supposed to be like, but it somehow never felt that merry. Until now. Flynn and Rapunzel sat together in front of the fire, waiting for Christmas to come. But before long, Rapunzel fell asleep. Flynn smiled. After all those spooky, sleepless Christmas Eves in the tower, Rapunzel had certainly earned a peaceful holiday. It had been a wonderful Christmas Eve, and there would be many more like it for years to come.